My castaway this week is the financial expert, TV presenter and campaigner Martin Lewis. 17 years ago, he founded the website Money Saving Expert. His campaigns on issues like money and mental health and court victories over bank charges and PPI have made headline news. Successful crusades on the behalf of the consumer have earned him the nickname the Dumbledore of Debt. 13 million of us receive his weekly money tips mail out. Whether he still uses them himself is a question we'll get to later. He sold his shares in Money Saving Expert back in 2012 for £87 million. While saving money may be second nature, he's no Scrooge. His charitable trust gives vast sums to good causes. Most recently, he set up a coronavirus poverty fund to help charities to continue to support those in need. Britain's financial superhero has never been needed more, but are superheroes born or made? He says some people can hear a piece of music once and play it on the piano. I'm quite lucky that I can look at the terms and conditions of a credit card and see how they work. It's not as sexy, but it's useful. Martin Lewis, welcome to Desert Island Discs.
Far, far less sexy.
So, Martin, you call yourself an accidental entrepreneur. Why?
It started to become more than that in around 2004, 2005. Two things happened around then. One was the bank charges campaign, which was huge and really started to explode my career. As I started doing template letters online, sounds really old school now, but there weren't many people doing that, and I did template letters for bank charges reclaiming. I mean, there was 6 million of them sent. You couple that with meeting a friend of a friend who was a mental health caseworker who told me how much he loved my website. And he said, oh, yeah, it don't help me, it's all my clients. Well, their finances are awful, and I spend most of my time helping them. And realising just how prevalent money problems were for people with mental health issues. And that's when I realised this mattered. We started the scam campaign that resulted in me suing Facebook, which was one of the scariest things I've ever done. I settled in a very good way. You always get flack for these. Why did you settle? Well, because I'd been advised by my lawyers that had I gone to court, I might have won 50 grand. And I should say this was always a campaigning lawsuit. I always said I'd never take any of the proceeds. And I settled for £3 million donation to set up Citizens Advice Scam Action, which has one-on-one facilities to support people who've been scammed or in the process of being scammed. And the UK now has on Facebook the first scam reporting button. So if you see a scam ad, you can press a button and report it, which doesn't exist on Facebook anywhere else in the world.
Martin, it's time to take a break for some music. And I believe that this next choice takes us back to another happy court result for you. Tell us what we're about to hear and why.
Well, it wasn't my court result, but I was known as the big gob-in-chief of the campaign against bank charges, unfair bank charges for busting your overdraft limit. Horrendous things, you know. People who didn't know they'd gone over their limit spent 30 quid on shopping in 7 shops and then got a £35 fine for each one that they were then unable to pay, so they had charges on the charges. It was a form of financial entrapment. A band came to me and said, we've written a song about bank charges and you're in it. I thought, that sounds fun. And we decided we would release it as a single. And 1 week before the release in the January, so in the December, the chart company made an announcement. It didn't mention us by name or me by name. It said, due to protest songs attempting to rig the chart system, I'm paraphrasing, we are changing it so that it is not the number of downloads that have been paid for that counts, but the number of tracks that are actually downloaded. So even though we'd clearly sold enough to have been number one in the charts, which I thought would have been an amazing protest, we actually got in at only number 27. But we did get a top 40 out of it. So if I may proudly introduce Oystar, featuring Martin Lewis, playing the track, I Fought the Lloyds.
But my life got so much better. Oh yes it did, when I logged on and saw those sexy little template letters. Yes, us against the banks, time to sign that petition. Play this song outside your local branch till they listen. Come on you bankers, give us our cash, cause we won't stop singing till we get it all back. Yeah, I fought the Lloyds and you can do it too. Tell the listening bank it's time to listen.
Oystar and I Fought the Lloyds. Martin Lewis, I'm about to cast you away on our desert island. How will you cope?